Good morning. Hello to everybody here and everybody who's here virtually. For those of you who don't know me, I'm Marion Berman. I'm the part-time interim executive director, and I wear another hat, and when I was wearing that other hat, I had the pleasure of meeting Marie Dixon. Marie started out as an occupational therapist, working in all different capacities, neonatal and people recovering from accidents and those kinds of things. About 5 years ago, she became fascinated by the things that were happening in the low vision field. She got a postgraduate certification from University of Alabama, Birmingham. It was online because we were having a pandemic then. And she's been working in that field ever since. It is an exciting field because every day there's something new, something that makes life easier, things that are a little hard for you to find, but Marie will tell you about strategies to have an independent and joyful life. So my friend Marie Dixon, please take the stage.
Thank you so much, Miriam. I appreciate it. There we go. All right. Thank you very much to the people of the Village in Howard for having me. I have heard of you folks, and I had not yet reached out, so I'm very, very glad to get a chance to come and speak with you, to meet some of you, and hopefully see what I can do to help give you some information that might help you and others. And that's an excellent point about this talks a good bit about what is low vision, and it may help to send to any of your loved ones a link to this so that they can understand a little bit better what that is. Okay. So some of the things we'll ask and answer are: what is low vision? What are three main causes? Do all of these different causes impact your vision in the same way? And does it really matter if it's not something that I can fix related to the vision? I can just help support what vision you have. And then what is low vision rehab? So per the National Eye Institute, low vision is a vision problem that makes it hard to do everyday tasks and activities. It can't be fixed with glasses, contact lenses, or other standard treatments like medicine or surgery. The American Federation for the Blind specifies that low vision is a condition caused by eye disease in which visual acuity is 20, 70, or poorer in the better seeing eye and cannot be corrected or improved with regular glasses. And a lot of the people I work have 20/100, 20/200 vision, 20/400 vision, so they're way beyond that particular stipulation. Is it legal blindness? Per the American Federation for the Blind, legal blindness is not a functional measurement of your low vision. Essentially, it's a descriptor that allows those who meet criteria to access government benefits such as tax deductions, equipment, vocational rehab, school benefits, and disability determination. There is a two-part definition of legal blindness. One is the best corrected visual acuity of 20/100 to 20/200 in the better seeing eye, or in the better seeing eye, a visual field of less than, 20 degrees or less. And the visual field is the range of vision that you have in an angle out from your eyeballs. So those who've been determined to be legally blind are not completely blind, which is important to note. You might have a distinction of legal blindness, but that doesn't mean that you can't see some people may be able to, I should say, see some shadows, light, shapes, forms, but rarely specifics. So we have three greatest causes of low vision: macular degeneration, and that's a disease that causes loss of your central vision in the middle of your eyes. So you might hear people complain a lot, I can see people, but I can't see their face. I can see the clock, but I can't see what time it is because there's this missing hub in the middle there. For glaucoma, it's almost the opposite. That condition causes a gradual reduction in your peripheral vision, which ends up giving you tunnel vision. So you don't have as wide a view at all. So it's almost the opposite between macular degeneration and glaucoma. And diabetic retinopathy affects damage to the blood vessels in the eyes, and that can result in really a number of different things, and that unfortunately is somewhat different for everyone, so it's harder to plan for and be able to work around. But that can be double or blurry vision, it can be straight lines that appear wavy, and it can also create considerable sensitivity to glare. So for macular degeneration, I'm going to hand out, I've got about 4 of these, so you guys might share around if you would, but this is a simulation, so if you guys could pass those. Thank you. Of what macular degeneration is like, and I'm also going to pull up, if I can do it easily, this simulation of what macular degeneration is like. So this is what the grocery store shelf looks like, if you can see normally, and this is what it might look like if you have macular degeneration. So this is why people say, oh, well, I can look at people, I can see people, but then I can't see what time it is, or I can't see what people's faces are looking like. I can't tell their faces. I have to rely on their voice to know who it is I'm talking with.
I have a question.
Yes.
With these goggles, when I turn my head, I can capture more, so is that what people?
That's exactly the strategy that I try to teach people to employ.
Got it.
But that can be very difficult to integrate because everybody wants to focus the center of their vision, which is what they've done for the last 87 years,
Yeah.
on the center of the thing. But it is something that I can try to work with to retrain how people look at things, and so that they actually are either turning their eyeball in their head or are turning their head to capture that. Yes?
So with this, I have a eyelash.
Excuse me? Oh, I apologize. We are, because we're recording this, we're gonna hold questions to the end, so if you don't mind just crossing your fingers, if that works, or something, jot a note to yourself to remember what that question is. We'll look at that at the end. Okay, so the macular degeneration we were talking about is that blurred vision, sometimes double vision, wavy lines. Dimness is also a factor. I have somebody who cannot get her apartment bright enough because everything just feels so dim. And it does affect the visual acuity, meaning how sharply she can see things. So the next one is that we're going to talk about is glaucoma. This is a disease or disorder of the optic nerve. So this is not bits and parts of the eyeball itself. This is the optic nerve that is damaged. And that can really create a problem again with that tunnel vision. So as things progress, they might notice that they're bumping into things. They didn't see something coming in from the side, whether it be like a waiter or waitress bringing a plate or something like that. They can't see it's coming, all of a sudden it's there. That does affect more of how far you can see. So the visual acuity can be somewhat preserved in that case. So this is a simulation of the progression of glaucoma.
Wow.
And I have some goggles that simulate that as well. Thank you. So this really I thought was a very good demonstration of what normal vision is, and then you can go from here and then down here and you start seeing a few spots come in, but then you also really start seeing this cloudiness come in on either side and down from the top. And then again, that makes things, of course, very difficult. Let me bring over my other disc. So here is our display of what a normal little office area might look like, and with glaucoma, again, you can see that dimness and darkness and how different that is. And that's more of the worldview almost that somebody has with glaucoma. Okay, and then last of the three big impacts for low vision is
Next slides keep
Oh,
messing with
sorry.
the display when you do that.
okay. But diabetic retinopathy is damage to the retina, thank you so much, of the eye due to blood vessel damage. And that can be related to high glucose levels. So things like contrast sensitivity reduces, visual acuity both near and far reduces. There's interference from glare, responding to light. Changes in light can be very different. So if you're walking through a hallway and one area is particularly dim, but then it becomes a lot brighter, it's harder for your eyeballs to adjust to that. And with diabetic retinopathy, the ability to distinguish colors also decreases, and that can be a considerable challenge. Okay, so one big thing to note again is I can't do anything that your ophthalmologist or any ophthalmology surgeons can do to change the vision that you do have. But what I can help with, or an occupational therapist can help with, is adaptations and modifications to use tools, techniques, and technology to help you to be able to do the activities that it is that you want to do the best way we can. So I'm focused on what are the activities that you want to be able to do to get through your day. How do we help you complete the activity? And to do that, we always go back to as OTs, we always go back to our roots of assessing what activities are most intrinsically valued by the client, activity analysis to understand what are the different aspects of the activity, what the activity requires from you, what the patient is or the client is able to bring to the table in terms of any other senses they can use, and then again, their ability to learn new things in order to employ some of these strategies. And mostly, what are the visual barriers to this patient completing this activity in this environment at this time? So one of the things we look at is reading. We want to look at whether or not they can do any spot reading, like can I look at the back of a microwave package to know how long I put this in the microwave? Can I get information from a medicine bottle? That's more of what we consider spot reading. Continuous reading is more of trying to read a news article or reading for pleasure. For magnification, there's standard handheld magnifiers and lighted magnifiers. There are also hands-free magnifiers. There's video magnifiers. You can use your phone or your tablet to act as a magnifier. And then a CCTV is an older model, large monitor that you can put a book down in front of, and it has the projection onto an old monitor. So for household adaptations, for tools and techniques, lighting is a major one that we use. I might use some motion sensing lights so that you don't even have to try to fumble for a light switch or anything. You get up to go to the bathroom at night and the light goes on because you've been moving. Managing the glare can often help for those who have trouble with glare. We may do that with looking at some of the shades that you have or drapes or what have you. We might look at how you might be most comfortable wearing a hat that has a pretty good brim on it to help shield some of that glare. That can make a big difference. Color markings and bump dots are another thing that I really employ a lot, particularly for any appliances and that kind of thing. So we've got different colors colors of tape that we can mark with. I've got different levels of bump dots and different colors and different shapes so that we can help people find. One of the things I love to do the most, one of the first things I usually do is put a bump dot on a 30-second button on the microwave, or the 1-minute button on the microwave, because that way you've got a lot of control under just one fingertip. You can hit the button 4 times for if you need it for a 4-minute meal or what have you. High contrast is another thing that really makes a big difference for people. And I'm going to give an example of how I've used this at my house to help my mother and sister who both have low vision. And that is, I painted, even before I met my husband, but my husband and I now paint the deck a light coastal gray type color, but the stairs we highlight in a darker gray. Not the whole stair all the way down, because then it would get lost, but just a strip about 2 inches in on the top and the side, so that you can see it as you face the stairs coming in, and as you're at the stairs going down, you can see that contrast for where the edge of the stairs are. So there's ways to incorporate that kind of a thing, just even in your home. I know this is called a life planning series. So as you're making choices and decisions about paints or colors, if you're making a transition, you may consider highlighting door frames in a slightly deeper shade, or with a higher contrast. And that's all things that I look at with people, is where are those challenges and how can we make that a little easier. So then we get into technology. So many more people are using technology, and they are sometimes better at it than I am at this point. But Siri, Alexa, Hey Google, phone and tablet apps like Seeing AI are incredibly helpful, because they have what's called OCR technology. That's optical character recognition. And that is how you can say, hey Siri, read this screen, and Siri will be able to do that. So that's a huge advancement, and that can be incorporated with video magnifiers, with CCTVs, and now smart glasses, which I have not gotten into yet. That is one of the biggest things up and coming. I've got about 4 or 5 clients at one community who are interested, have purchased Meta glasses and are interested in working with them the best. So that's one of my new learning curves. So with a physician referral, preferably from an ophthalmologist or an optometrist, a low vision optometrist, because they're able to give me guidance on where we start with some of the magnification that's required and that type of thing. Then an occupational therapy evaluation can be initiated, and then we can do an assessment. The initial assessment's usually about an hour and a half or so, because we really look at a lot of different things. And yes, everybody always just wants to see better, and I'd love to have that magic wand, but I really direct people to, like, let's start, if they're having trouble telling me about what activities they want to do, because it's so global, then we start with, let's start with your day. What's the first thing that's difficult to do because of your vision? And then we can, if it's picking out my black pants from my navy pants, okay, let's put a knot with yarn in the tag of your navy pants. All your navy pants now have a knot on the tag, so you can tactily tell what's navy and what's black. And then we go on from there. What's the next thing that makes it difficult for you because you cannot see it? And we go from there. And then this is my email address. If anybody has questions, they are more than welcome to ask. But at this point, if it's okay, I'll take questions here.
Recording stopped.